I was going to release a documentary about 8 years back when I was in film and television. We had a project, and I decided to do mine on a documentary. And the documentary was called Play that I was producing. And so I interviewed psychologists, I interviewed educators, university professors, um, daycare managers, I interviewed parents, which I was one, and it was basically analyzing the what has happened, the transformation of what play was in my time as a child, my mother's time, grandmother's time, what play was versus what play is now. So the research in the documentary basically exposed that there has been a projection on security and safety. And for that reason, they sold us the idea of play in a structured environment as a way of selling us false safety. So, for example, I used to walk to school at like what age 4 or 5 by myself with a bunch of other children if I end up meeting them on the way. We'd walk through like the trees, forest trees, etc., like farms and forest trees or whatever. We'll stop by the mango tree and grab a mango, the orange tree, and swing a bit, and then make our way to school or repeat the same cycle on our way back. When it was time for us to play, we were always outside. We were always playing with the animals. We were always exploring nature. We were always building houses. We were always pretend cooking. You know what I mean? We were outside with each other. And then versus now, where there is structured play within fences and gates, and how all that transpired is because of someone else's projection. So they're constantly telling you that the world is not safe, the world is not safe. People are kidnapping people. People are kidnapping children. People are trafficking children and women and human beings in general, etc., etc. So they create the problems and they sell you the solution, and the solution is really just a form of enslavement or jail, limiting yourself. So we were voyagers. Remember the movie Moana? We are voyagers, okay? We had no bounds. We explored the entire planet. You know what I mean? This was play. Exploration was play for us. We explored the entire planet. And, now just the structural way of playing within the fences and the courts, right? Is really just a fragmentation and a boxing in the subconscious mind, in our mind system. And that makes us naturally, or not naturally, but that reprograms us to be afraid to explore and expand and travel. Just imagine that you cannot even play safely in your own community. How safe do you feel to travel in the other cities or in the other provinces or states or in the other countries? How safe do you feel to be international? So that program, so they're the ones causing the issues, and then they sell you safety, but safety really is a form of enslavement. Jail, limiting your bounds, means of mobility, travel is expansion, it's becoming, it's consciousness, awareness expansion, you know what I mean? And then on a grander scale, they do this other thing through their media where they label other countries as really poor, disease stricken, or other countries as super violent and I don't know, all the bad stuff. You know what I mean? Like, they spoke the worst possible things about Mexico. I went there. I'm moving there. They speak the worst possible things about the African continent, the richest continent with like the amount of minerals and natural resources. You know what I mean? They speak the worst things about China. They speak the worst things about Korea. They speak the worst things about every single place, but it's all a projection. That's why the law of mentality really needs to be understood in the now, because the law of mentality literally tells you that you have to own your mind space so profoundly that anybody projecting anything on you, you're shielded from. You are autonomous, you are athlete, you are sovereign in making your own decisions of what comes or what affects you. So I'm just saying this for us to kind of unprogram ourselves, because the world has always been safe. It is not safe because of the people that are selling us false security. Great remembrance.